We've all heard it, money won't buy happiness, and that the tipping point is $75,000 a year. $75,000 and you're happy. Anything above that doesn't necessarily buy you any more happiness. Well, a local researcher says, guess what? That's not necessarily true. With me now is Matthew Killingsworth. Killingsworth is a senior fellow at the Wharton School at the University of Pennsylvania. He earned his doctorate degree in psychology from Harvard University. Matthew, thanks for being with us. So, money buys happiness? Tell us about your research.
Sure. So for about the last 10 years, researchers thought a certain kind of happiness stopped increasing once people reach $75,000 in annual income. To study that question, and a lot of other questions, I've been running a big happiness study where I use people's smartphones to collect data on happiness in people's everyday lives. And I wanted to understand, does happiness increase beyond $75,000 or not? And what I found in my study is that people's happiness not only rose up to $75,000, but it kept increasing. In fact, kept increasing at basically exactly the same pace. So that suggests that at least as incomes keep rising beyond 75, there may still be some benefit to be had.
And there's no dollar point at which it stops. It just continues on.
I don't see any evidence for that. It is the case that the effect is pretty small. So if you're looking for what's the secret to happiness, it's not to make a lot of money. It's going to have a pretty small effect. And it also takes exponentially more money to rise up the scale. So an extra $10,000 makes a huge difference for someone, earning $20,000 a year. It makes, no difference to someone earning $1 million. But if you keep adding 10% to your income, that's basically predicted to have the same effect for everyone.
And you find that the higher earners have a deeper sense of control over their lives. But is that money gives you control, more control over your life? Is that how it works?
That's right. So I wanted to understand not just are people who earn more money happier, but if so, why? And I really found two reasons that could explain pretty much all of it. The biggest one was that as people earned more money, they felt more in control of their life. I didn't ask people to kind of tell me exactly what it was that was different, but it's easy to imagine how if you have more money, you can, you see organic raspberries in the grocery store and that's what you're in the mood for, so you buy it instead of buying, a box of dried pasta. Or maybe if you are working in a job that you think is kind of unfulfilling, you can quit your job and you have sort of a financial cushion. Sort of in these very small ways and very profound ways, you can sort of steer your life in the direction you want a little bit more easily, I think, when you have more resources. The other major thing that I see is that when people earn more money, they just have a greater sense of financial security. So when someone has a low income, they spend a lot of their time worrying about just paying the bills. Whereas as your income rises, you have to worry about that less and less. So those two things together, your sort of sense of control and sort of not having to worry so much about paying the bills, basically explains why people who earn more money are a little bit happier.
It's fascinating, really. Thank you so much for being with us. We appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, Matt Killingsworth with Penn's Wharton School.